Happy 2023.
Simultaneous sip.
That was good.
Spit it all out.
I do have to say that my coffee is not as good as yours.
Why? How would you know what my coffee tasted
Because I
like?
taste everybody's coffee that I make before I give it to them. It's called quality control.
Okay.
QC.
Did you do that? Like out of the cup?
Rephrase the question.
You poured the coffee in the cup and then tasted it? Or did you taste it before? Like you took a spoon?
No. This is an espresso. Actually, what you have is a latte.
Set the table for the audience.
Oh, yeah. I made Eric some coffee.
And brought it to me.
Anything
like
else?
Not just here. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, it's really not coffee. It's a latte,
Is that different?
I guess.
It is.
We've got this fancy espresso machine at home. I got this for my wife for her birthday last year. We love it. I definitely drink way too much espresso.
Okay.
If it's not already evident by my demeanor on the podcast,
Yeah.
I sound like I drink too much espresso.
Okay.
I mean, I'm like flipping out inside right now.
Okay.
No, not really. I can go to sleep after drinking coffee. Enough about me.
How
This is
much
about you.
coffee do you drink a day?
I mean, I have 2 cups of coffee in the morning. And then I probably have I always do a double shot.
Okay.
Probably have 2 to 3 of those a day.
Double shots.
Yeah.
Okay. When's your last sip of coffee?
I could really use an intervention. So if
Yeah.
anybody wants to intervene.
Yeah. You stopped drinking alcohol though, so that's...
This is true. I have not had a drop of alcohol since October the 4th. Yeah.
Okay, back to coffee. We can go back to alcohol.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. So what time's your last sip?
Like 3 seconds ago. When we had a simultaneous sip.
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah.
In the day, asshole.
Oh, what time is my last sip in the day?
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I don't
3 o'clock?
catalog this. No, man. It's probably, yeah. Mhm. Yeah. Yeah, it's probably
Okay.
3. Yeah, probably.
Okay.
I don't know.
I'm just wondering.
All right, so we're going back to, I made you coffee. Coffee.
Yeah.
I actually tried to walk out of the house without, like, it was just going to be 2 shots of espresso, some almond milk, maybe a little bit of creamer, froth it up, cold.
Yeah.
And then my wife said, hey, you need to clean the frother. And I said, I'm not frothing anything for Eric. I'm already running late.
Yeah.
She said, you are absolutely going to froth that coffee.
Huh.
And I complied.
Yeah.
So we frothed the coffee.
And then you showed up in a bad mood.
No, I should have been in a great mood.
Okay. I wasn't sure.
Yeah, no. I'm not sure either. Maybe I was. Maybe I wasn't.
Yeah.
To be determined. We'll see how this podcast goes.
Yeah.
So there it is, man. This is a great way to kick off 2023.
Yeah.
Coffee with friends and Saviors of the Metaverse.
All at the same time.
All at the same time.
And not a drip of alcohol.
Yeah.
But you're sleeping better?
Yeah.
Just depends.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so. I mean, when I first quit, it was easy because I read that book, How to Quit Drinking Without Using Willpower by Alan Carr. It's a good book.
Okay.
So it's really about rewriting the story of your relationship to alcohol.
Yeah.
Because essentially, I just had a 10-year-long bad habit, really. It was just one of those things that after kids, because I wasn't able to ride my bike as much, so racing and training, you don't have time for that when you got kids. And so it was just easier to unwind at the end of the day with beer.
Yeah.
Since I wasn't able to go out and ride on the bike.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're coping another way, almost.
Yeah.
Not coping with like
It's just bad habit.
Yeah,
It's like, hey, I'm running hot all day. So it's like this, up all day, and then I got to bring myself down. Up, down.
Okay. So what did that look like?
What do you mean? Like what?
Like how many beers a night do you think you're having?
I probably averaged 3 to 5 a night.
Wow. Every night. Most nights.
Most nights.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. And I would say, it's low calorie beer, but still 4%.
That's blood alcohol, like 4%.
No, like
Michelob Ultra is low calorie.
Gross.
I know, but I'm saying, like you said, 4%. That's the
No. It's like
ABV,
4%. Yeah. 4% ABV, I guess.
what kind of beer? All different kinds.
The one that I would drink the most was probably Sweetwater.
Okay.
Sweetwater's
Atlanta, right?
I don't know. I can't remember. I think so. Either that or there's somewhere in Georgia.
Yeah.
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 You're trying to get me to reminisce about a habit that I quit. I mean, what is wrong with you?
No.
You're trying to get me to start again? Definitely, there has been some days
Hold
where
on.
I'm like, what would be really nice.
Saviors. Someone's listening to this and be like, man, if Jared can do it, I can do it.
That's right.
That's pretty cool. Think about that.
Now, the Jared in the metaverse, he's drunk right now. He's wasted.
Yeah.
No way. Is that the multiverse? Got to start another podcast on that
That's
one.
a multiverse.
That's a multiverse.
Like a parallel universe.
Probably. Yeah, that's a multiverse.
Okay. Because there's multiple verses.
Because there's multiple verses.
Okay.
Multiple verses.
There is a Jared out there that didn't go with that decision.
Yeah. And there's a Jared. Oh, yeah. That's a long conversation. The multiverse.
Oh, that's confusing.
It can be.
Yeah.
And I don't know that we want to just come in hot like that.
No.
We want to ease our way in with idiocy.
We'll go back. Well, I was listening to Andrew Huberman, his podcast, Science, Stanford professor.
Oh, yeah. He's great.
Yeah, he's great. He had a whole episode about alcohol and like Because he'll get into the science of like, what does it actually do? And you listen, you're like, I can't drink that anymore, ever.
Yeah.
Because it's poison.
I will say, I mean, I do feel a lot better. I sleep better. Yeah, it was one of those things where, I knew that I should have quit a long time ago.
Yeah.
You buy into this. So what's really interesting about that book, it's really a lot of cognitive behavioral therapy and some neuro-linguistic programming, right?
Yeah.
So what you're doing is there's a lot of repetition and you're really rewiring and taking things back to when your relationship with alcohol started, how you're framing it.
Yeah.
And then he kind of drives this whole point home is that number one is you never actually liked it to begin with, because he brings up a really good point. So think back to the very first time you had a sip of alcohol. What was your response?
No one likes it.
Nobody likes it.
It's awful.
And then what do people tell you?
It's an acquired taste.
Exactly. You'll get used to it.
Yeah.
And so it's, oh, okay. So you'll do it again. Ugh, gross. Don't like that. Oh, you'll get used to it. So you start to realize, I never actually really wanted this to begin with. He also said this thing over and over again. He said, drinkers drink to feel like non-drinkers. So why not just be a non-drinker?
Yeah.
To feel more socially comfortable, everything else. I was like, yeah, that makes sense. And then, as he winds it out towards the end, he essentially starts to talk about, and again, this is not knocking other ways of recovery, right?
For sure not.
But is saying that a lot of the fear of giving up something like alcohol is you think about how much willpower it's going to take, because you bought into the idea you're depriving yourself of something that's number one, good for you. And number two, something that you actually want. But if you go back to the beginning of where he started you at, he said, you never actually wanted this. So you're really not giving up something that you want. You're not depriving yourself of anything.
Yeah.
So the willpower idea, the way he's framing it, it's a belief that you have.
Yeah.
That, oh man, I'm missing out. Now, all that to say, for the first couple of months, easy. But there's definitely been times, and again, it's just kind of that maybe I feel, too wound up from coffee. I'm like, I'd love to take the edge off.
Yeah.
Right?
Would you be the person that if you had a sip of alcohol, that would be like, oh man, I miss this?
I mean, I don't know. I think that's a contextual thing.
Sure.
Because, if I were to have another sip of alcohol or have another drink, and there might be a day when I do, I don't know. But I mean, I think about it right now. If I were to have another drink, I'd have to ask myself, why did I have another drink? Well, it's probably to relieve stress. Now I've started to create the story again that, hey, look, this isn't bad for me. It's just relieving some stress. Because I had quit before. In fact, I was sitting right here. I think we podcasted about it like 5 years ago.
Yeah.
I quit for 3 months.
Yeah.
And then slowly went back to it and was like, oh man, great. I've got a better relationship with it. No.
That's the story you told yourself at the beginning. Yeah.
And then it eventually got back to where it was before.
Yeah. It was the de-stress, because a lot of times you talk about books, power of habit, right? It's like you go to the bar to watch the game with a friend.
Yeah.
And it's an association, and it triggers you to say, the waiter comes over and you say, I would like whatever, a beer.
Right.
And that becomes the habit loop, right? That you've got yourself into it. It's just like a setting. And yours is that too. It's just in a different way. It's at the house.
Mine was sad and lonely at home.
Yeah. Well,
So,
I
no,
mean, you talk about social settings. I mean, that's probably one of the main reasons people, because if you think about high school and college, you go to a party, you go to an event, whatever.
Of course.
And people start drinking.
Yeah. It's normal. It's normalized.
Normalized. Yeah.
I'll tell you what is nice is I've been in several social settings where there's alcohol and have not been tempted to have any of it.
Yeah.
In fact, it's really nice because I'm able to function at a much higher level, obviously. But, that's part of the story that you tell yourself is, I need the alcohol so that I can be, you kind of make yourself believe I'm more interesting, I'm funnier. Like you don't really go through that process in your head. But obviously you believe that.
Sure.
If you're going to go ahead and have several beers and you're hanging out in that setting and 2 leads to 5 leads to you on the street with a sign, asking for change.
Yeah. It could. Bad decisions. Yeah.
Yeah. We've addressed that before.
Do people, man, I ask this question a lot. And sometimes it's like when someone goes through a traumatic event, right? Like, did you need to go through that to get to where you are today, right? And it's always something to think about. Kids are going to high school and college. They're going to be exposed to it.
Right.
Is it useful for them, right, to experience what that's like? Or is it not? Can they just stay away from it? I don't know. Everyone's different, right?
It's a weird question. Is it useful? I don't know, man. I mean, we did it, obviously, but I don't look back at those days in college and go, you know what? I'm really glad.
Yeah.
That was really good for me. Yeah. In fact, that's one of the things he talks about.
You had fun, maybe.
But did you? I mean, we were fun in the moment. I mean, when you're soused, with your buddies, of course, that's fun. The next day is what sucks.
Yeah.
And that's what I was going to say. In some of these settings that I've been in recently, I love being able to wake up super early, feeling full of energy. In all sincerity, one of the things that's hard for me to deal with right now, because it's been October, November, December, I'm really looking at like 3-4 months. One of the things that's been difficult to adjust to is how much more energy I have. I'm thinking, okay, I need outlets for this. So that, being amped up. Podcasting.
Yeah.
So I take the edge off with podcasting.
Yeah.
I went from alcohol to podcasting.
Yeah. It's good. Good turnaround.
But that has been one of the things that's been a little harder to adjust to. So there's an adjustment period. And I don't know if it was on Andrew Huberman or it was somebody else that was talking about this. But when you quit drinking, see, alcohol, and I'm going to get this wrong, I'm sure. But the gist of it is that over time, it kills off neurotransmitters and pathways, and your brain adapts to something that it gets used to. When you take that out of there, you still have those pathways, but nothing's going through them anymore. So there's a dying off period where your brain has to go through a restructuring, right?
Yeah.
Because it's like, okay, we need to build new pathways. We need to build new ways of functioning because it's so used to this one thing that was happening on a regular basis. That might have been him talking about that.
Yeah.
I've thought about that a lot too, so I have a lot more energy.
It's harder though for kids because they want to be social, right? They want to go to these events. You want to go to a party. You want to go to a bar to choose club soda, right?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Kids and middle-aged men like us, man, that's a different game, right? Like when you think about the loneliness epidemic, which I know we've talked about a few times, but...
You lonely? You good?
Totally.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's why you're here.
I tell you what, man, COVID fucked everything up.
Yeah.
For a lot of people.
Man.
Like that's a legit thing.
That's still going on.
Totally. And it's not even like, oh, COVID, so we need to isolate, but that just the mass isolation, the polarization, like the narrative wars were so high. There's irreparable damage on a social level. I don't know. I think it's damage that, at least in our lifetime, won't, I don't think, fully be repaired. I'm not trying to be dramatic. I'm just saying that people are still entrenched in beliefs that have been proven incorrect. And it's just like, well, we're not going to pay attention to any of that information. We're going to keep believing what we believe from the beginning. That goes on both sides.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just a problem. It's like we normalized isolation.
Yeah.
This podcast is supposed to be entertaining, man. This is getting dark.
This is real dark. It's good though.
My bad.
You gotta save a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we started people off dark.
Yeah.
And then we're going to boost them up
dark
towards
coffee.
the end.
This coffee's got a little something. This is espresso. That's what I'm dealing with.
That's diarrhea water.
Okay. Is it?
Flavored.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's good.
Yeah.
I appreciate
Kids have been
that.
sick all week. I'm just kidding. No, look at, did you see your face?
Yeah.
Your face, you're like, oh,